choices for themselves and their families. Path to the Plate is all about dispelling myths and misconceptions. Find out more online at pathtotheplate.tamu.edu. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hello and welcome to the Ticket Stub, your favorite place for movie news and reviews. The Ticket Stub drops every Thursday on all podcast platforms. Thursday at noon on 104.5 and 106.1 FM from beautiful Conroe, Texas. You can follow us on Twitter at @Ticket Stub or Facebook, the Ticket Stub Podcast. The Ticket Stub has a ticket sponsorship with the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinema. You can visit irlonestar.com for information about the show and sponsorships, or drop us a line at 936-647-3776. Also, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. My name is Connor Halstead. Contrary to popular belief, I am one of the hosts of the show. Let my absence, hold that off to the side. Joined in studio by my friend Chris Appel. How you doing, sir?
Doing well.
Don't hear you. Don't hear you. Don't hear you.
Yeah, didn't have my mic up, but I'm doing good other than that.
Now I'm dead. Hey, hello? Testing. Hey-o. Chris, Mike, is it working?
Yes, I believe it is.
Check.
Yes.
Unique New York. And Dick, how you doing, buddy?
Word.
All right, he's got that one going. Well, we are going to have some fun today on the show. We're going to be doing our rundowns where we talk about our rewinds, where we talk about the movies that we've watched since we've been together last. Long opportunity for me to have drawn some movies from. You guys have done a couple shows in the month of into May, early June, and I haven't been on since May 16th. That was the last show that I did. Was May 16th?
Wow, really?
That's the best I could figure out. That's a long time ago. That's quite a while.
I mean, I don't doubt it. We're always
I was a year
challenging
younger.
your dedication.
Yeah, always testing. So anyways, we're going to do movie news. Also, a lot of things going on that we need to talk about in movies and entertainment and streaming and all that stuff. And then we're going to be doing our top 3 favorite childhood movies. See, Toy Story 4 came out, and it's doing pretty well. Doing well.
Yep.
I hadn't checked the box office stuff, so
It's,
don't know.
150 million, I believe.
Okay, so not setting a record, but real strong though.
It's a little below expectations, but definitely good for a 4th movie in a franchise.
And the Rotten Tomatoes is still like 97%, I think, or something like that.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Those movies average like the average of all 4 is like 98.5 or something like that. I mean, it's crazy high. But in honor of Toy Story 4 and how many children have grown up their whole lives with the Toy Story franchise right in front of them, we're going to do top 3 childhood movies. And what I want to do right now, though, is we always do movie news, but I thought, let's just do a little personal news. What's going on? Like,
I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Did you know it was coming?
So where have you been?
Really, where have I been? Well, really, I have been working and being out of town.
Man,
Yeah, I know.
thought it was gonna be juicy.
No, there's no juice. Absolutely zero.
No juice.
Absolutely zero juice. So I work a job where the summer is like the busiest time, and I've already been out of town essentially 3 weeks since the summer started, and the times where I've been in town have just been, a bunch of things going on. So I apologize for my absence. But anyways, so for me, I've just been kind of all over the place, doing the family thing, trying to balance that with being out of town, and also having a pretty hectic work schedule. But so that's kind of where I've been. Chris, what's going on with you, man? I hadn't seen you in over a month.
Just busy at the theater. We're totally done with our remodel. We got the DAC Shack is open, the bar. Trying to, get back to normal, but it's very, very busy. Very busy. So
Well, that's good. So it's been a good summer?
Yeah, it's really good for us, yeah.
Have you noticed that the seating, are you still doing well in spite of having less seats available?
Yeah, it's actually what's happening, and I didn't believe that when they told
you were
me
kind
this.
of you were kind of a skeptic at first.
Yeah, I was. I didn't believe when they told me this, but you do make up your attendance during the week, and boy, that's true.
Really?
Yeah, it's very busy, even at nighttime.
Is that because people are now like, I know the weekend is going to be sold out, so I have to come on like a Tuesday?
It would seem that that's the case, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. You would think less seats mean less people, but maybe not.
It does on the weekend, but it balances itself out.
Does it make the weekend more manageable? Because like there's not 2,000 people, there's only 700 or whatever
it does. I mean, it's a different animal. It's how I did things a year ago. It's completely different now. So I kind of had to learn everything over, sort of.
Okay.
Just with scheduling and things like that.
Yeah. All right, cool. Dick, what's going on, man? Personal news.
Oh, nothing much, man. Just
Y'all are having a baby?
bowling.
What?
We're bowling a lot.
Bowling. How's it
yeah,
going?
I'm almost averaging 200.
Shut
so
up.
there's that. And
Dude,
then,
people don't understand that to average 200, you're
That's
like
pretty good.
that's really good. Because that means
I'm
you're throwing
getting
like hot, like mid 200s sometimes, probably.
Yeah.
Dang,
sometimes if I'm real lucky.
dude. Best ever. I was in a league where I averaged 203 for a whole league season one time, Dick. So
Yeah?
Still something to shoot for. Yeah,
I guess.
I average about 70.
But
you and all
outside
the
that,
children average about 70.
Yes.
we're hopefully opening up the back studio pretty soon. I know.
What's it look like? I haven't gotten a peek
It's
in.
just a bunch of trash
Still
everywhere.
the same? Okay,
Boxes and
okay.
everything. So
Okay.
we got furniture and all that stuff. We have to box and build. And
Oh, so stuff is here. It's just
yeah,
not put
just
together
gotta
yet.
put it together. I have this stupid movie podcast I do on Thursdays.
It
It
takes
just
up all your
like
time.
takes up all my time.
Well, luckily, we've only made about
Uh,
every other week for the last
yeah,
2
but,
months. So.
but yeah, so if anyone's out there listening wants to do a podcast, contact us. The rates are affordable, and you basically just get to do your show, and you don't have to do anything else.
Is there a
So-
referral fee? Like if we send someone to you, can
yeah,
we get
sure.
like some
I can
kickbacks?
work something out.
All right, perfect. I'm gonna start spreading the news. Well, anyways, we're glad for those of you that are listening. We're glad that you stuck with us through a little bit of a up and down recording schedule. Chris had a lot going on at the theaters, and then that led right into the time where I had a ton of things going on. And so we've been trying to get shows done. We're glad to all three be here in studio. It's been a while since the three of us have all been able to sit around this beautiful table and talk movies. But let's not waste any more time with that stupid personal stuff, right? Let's get to it. Movie news. There's a lot of things that are going on in the world of movies. We're going to talk about the first one. This is a Yahoo article. Dick, you sent us a text about this maybe like a week or so ago. And your text was a little bit misleading, in my opinion, unless you've got different sources than I
I
have.
said it was a tabloid.
Okay, that's right.
I said that.
You did
so
say
yeah,
that.
very misleading sources. I thought that was implied by the word tabloid. But
It was the National Enquirer.
I forgot. Yeah, very, very reputable. I forgot you'd said tabloid, but you said that Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. By the way, what percentage of the time are tabloids actually correct? Because it seems like a fairly high amount.
well, I think
right?
their magic is they do a little bit of truth, do a little bit of lies, and a little bit of sleight of hand.
Okay.
They fill in the gaps.
Yeah, because it seems like they're saying like so and so are divorcing, and you're like, really? And then like a month later, they actually are. But the article was Lady Gaga, or what you'd said, Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper were together, is what you'd said. But what Yahoo is talking about is that they're set to reunite as quote unquote lovers in their new film. A little bit of a misleading title also, because their new film is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy 3, where they both play computer generated animals. But she's going to be the voice of what do they call the character? Lady Lila, I guess, who is an otter. She'll be an otter, and I guess a raccoon and an otter are destined to be together. You know, he plays Rocket, and so she'll play Lady Lila, the otter, and I guess they'll be in love there. But the sub wrinkle here is, are they dating? Are they in a relationship?
I hope so.
Because
I like
Bradley. Well, you hate to root for this, but Bradley had been married.
What would
I
be
guess.
great is someone asked the question, "What's the possibility of A Star Is Born 2?" And then people kind of look around, going like, "Isn't he?
Didn't he?
Well,
Although we never.
didn't he?"
Yeah. Maybe miracles. Hey,
Yeah.
miracles happen. It could be like a Christian. It could be like a Christian film.
Comes back as a ghost.
40,
Like Dirty Dancing kind of stuff.
55 seconds in heaven.
Well, I think we can
or
hash this
whatever
out.
it
A
is.
Star Is Reborn.
Yeah.
How about that?
There you go.
Can you imagine the opening shot is him hanging, and then he's
Oh.
like, "What? What?" Or he starts moving around. He's like, "What is happening?"
Could be like a zombie movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That'd be great.
So he recently split up with his Russian.
A Star Is Undead. Okay.
His
I
Russian.
like the reborn one.
You like the Reborn?
I like that
Yeah,
a lot
that's-
more.
yeah. So he was married or with, I guess, a Russian supermodel. Seems like not the one you want to get rid. Not the one you want to move on from.
So this is something that we've always talked about when people go, "Oh, Dane who or what?" I go, "Man," I always tell Holly, I go, "If you're famous, why even try to do that?
Try to do what?
Date and be married, or be married at least."
Just do the George Clooney route,
And
for
just
like
and
most
like,
of his career.
there's got to be some Hollywood person who's figured out where he can just get away with still being in the light of the public being good, but then he can just kind of do whatever he wants,
just
or
want
she
love, man.
whatever she wants.
They just want love, dude.
So-
Honestly, it's probably good for their image to be like. I hate to be like a cynic, but it's probably good for their like fame to be
Yeah.
getting married, then getting divorced.
well,
then
it's probably
getting
that's why
married.
they're getting together.
Yeah. Well, and they fell in love on the movie, man.
Irina Shayk, who's his wife, or they're getting divorced, whatever. Where's she going to be? Nowhere.
I don't
Now
know.
that she's not with him, I would imagine.
Well, except
you'll
for-
never hear about her again.
Except
Well,
for just
I
a,
don't think
a
she really
Russian
cares.
supermodel. She'll be in all the Russian magazines or whatever. I don't know. Is she does she model for like American stuff?
I don't know.
I don't know who she is.
I didn't know who she was until she started dating him when she was very young. Very, very young. I think he was robbing the cradle.
Okay. Well, and then Gaga was engaged, and she broke off her engagement. So something must have happened. You got to imagine that these two have gotten together already, right? I mean, like maybe even before
This
they
isn't
separated.
a gossip podcast. Let's move on.
Dude, it's movies. It happened from the Star is Born. Heaven forbid we talk about something tangentially
I hope
related.
so. I like it. I think it's cool.
And they're in another movie together. This is totally movie talk. They're in a movie together. All right, fine. Dick doesn't like to have fun, so we're gonna move on.
We have better things to talk about.
Do we? That's a surprise to me. I didn't realize that we did. TheGuardian.com had an article about the movie Yesterday, which is the Danny Boyle film about the guy who the lights go out and they come back on. The Beatles never existed. See, I think this was a movie with a great premise.
Yeah, definitely.
I really liked the premise, but I didn't know how it was going to come across. Still haven't seen it. There's seemed to be some kind of hot and cold reviews coming out about this. You know, a lot of people are giving it a little bit of criticism about maybe not having a great plot or maybe not really living very well in the world, you know, like not living up to its own rules that it's setting, or like the Beatles don't exist, but then all these bands that the Beatles directly inspired do exist and things like that. But the point of this article from The Guardian was that this is a story all about men. Because all of the female characters have nothing to do, as the article would say, nothing to do except for dote, scold, and sell out. That was the only role that women played in this movie. And also, apparently, all of the musicians that this movie touches on are only male musicians. There's not a single female. So this is talking about how it's basically rewriting history to say that, you know, there's no famous women in music, and that the women in this movie have no role.
Okay, this is something that
Okay.
I've got a question for you guys.
All right, circle up. Here we go. What's
All right.
up?
So when you say stuff like when people like, because I read a little bit of the article and it's really strange that it's now there's an expectation of these standards.
Yes.
And I found that kind of odd, and especially telling a story. I mean, really, there's better ways to like. You can always agree there's always better ways to tell a story, but I mean, this movie's just about Beatles music. I imagine. I don't think they're trying to go out of their way and say women are only there to support us, and that's our men.
What if that was their point? What if they're like, let's make a movie?
Yeah, that's all Beatles music is. That's the whole reason for Beatles music, folks.
Well, they say this is original, but it kind of reminds me of that movie, The Invention of Lying.
Yeah.
With Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
That's a good point. A different spin on the same concept.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Which it's okay movie.
Is that movie all about holding women down also?
It is. Well, it's about lying, so yes.
He does take advantage of many women through his lies,
Yeah,
right?
he sure does.
Well, again, like you said, Dick, I don't know that these writers. It's so funny because they're so under the microscope. I can't imagine there's like a writers meeting where they're like, okay, how can we write the women out of this story?
Especially what the movie's trying to be. Like, I could understand if it's an art house film trying to do some message that's a little as layered, but this is a movie about yesterday. This like.
It's supposed to be like kind of a feel-good, fun music movie.
Yeah, like that's it. I don't really know what they want from all this.
What if there was someone in the writers' room? All right, now we need the strong woman lead, and they're like, "Get out! No, get that stupid idea out of here. We're holding women down with this movie. We do not want women to have a fair shake in this."
Well, maybe because the Star is
I mean, that's
born,
like
they thought,
someone.
okay, but they just had it. We can go the other way.
That's
true.
like someone
Hit the
complaining
quota.
about Castaway. And how
There was not enough strong female leads
Yeah,
in that.
like all the women in that movie either made a mistake or they just were just there to look at.
Yeah, he would make the volleyball a man.
I mean-
yeah, he would make his
Yeah.
volleyball friend a male.
Helen Hunt was very good in that movie.
I know, but I mean, they're sitting there critiquing women's roles in movies, and I'm like, I don't really know, man.
Well,
It's
again,
kinda
I don't
strange.
think the purpose of Yesterday was to be against women. I think it was probably an oversight.
Horrible article. Let's go back and talk about gossip about Lady Gaga.
You want
and-
to? Dude,
yeah,
I'm
what
all
do you
about it.
think?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Dude, I think they're in love.
Oh,
I think
man.
they're true love.
I still like the idea of A Star Is Reborn,
A
man.
Star Is
That
Reborn.
opening scene and everything, especially their face when they see him. And they could even do a reenactment
They
of
would be
Jesse
so
Smollett, and he
surprised.
still has the noose around him.
Oh,
And, like,
no.
you got this bizarre imagery. People are looking around the theater going, what are they trying to make it look like? Just you have like the police cam and everything.
Dude, it's pop culture. And, you know, it's relevant. It's relevant.
it'd be
I
great.
mean, you know, it's so good.
And what will be great is we get to see him torture himself because the funny part, the plot of the movie is he can't die. So the whole time the Star is his character's trying to kill himself. He's
It's
like,
like Groundhog Day.
Why can't I be sad?
Just let me be sad.
Let me be sad.
Or what was that? What's that? I think that's a movie that you probably like, but they're making another one where like the girl dies every day and then she wakes up.
Happy Death Day.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that. Every day he's trying to kill himself in a new way, but he just wakes back up the next morning or whatever. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this next one, Dick, I know you're not going to like this article. I thought you might like the first two, and I was leaving this one for last so that you could make fun of it. But this is leading to a different conversation. This is the entryway in, which is that the Office TV show is leaving Netflix in 2021. But the reason why I bring this up is because this is exactly what we've been talking about for a long time, which is that all of these little IP segments here or groups or companies are going to be spinning off their own streaming service. And that's exactly what is happening here. NBC Universal's new streaming service is going to come with a $12 a month fee. And they're bringing The Office as kind of their flagship program over to it.
Yeah, but they had Hulu, right? But now Disney owns that.
Yeah, I think so. So my question is, and where we're going to bring it back to movies is, what is this? Is this the first step, and how long after is everybody else going to be following behind?
It's already started. Everyone's contracts have been signed, and what's interesting to me about this announcement is I'm curious how people know about this stuff. Because it's not like a regular thing, and Netflix hasn't done or they don't do a reoccurring email going, here's what's coming. It's always those clickbait articles. It's like, how do these people find this information out?
They must leak it, I guess.
And what's what I'm saying. And so to me, this isn't that big of a deal. The Office is a TV show. You can watch it. You can buy it on DVD.
Yeah, you can buy it, but nobody wants to. What's crazy about this is that The Office has stayed relevant only because it's been on Netflix.
With any streaming service, really. It didn't.
Is it also on Hulu?
No, I don't think so. I think it's been on Netflix this whole time.
I'll check real quick.
Because Parks and Rec is on Netflix and on Hulu.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure The Office is only on.
Right now.
I'm pretty sure it's only on Netflix. And they were going to take it off Netflix a while back, but there was such a push against it that they re-upped the contract or whatever. But there's so many teenagers, I work with teenagers, and it's like their favorite show. It's and so it's had this weird staying power because it's been available. And so my question is,
you can watch it
on
Hulu.
Do you think? Okay, now this happened with the TV series Coach. It was on Netflix, and they had the whole series on there. But then it was pulled off because an independent company wanted to re-release it on DVD, and so they did that, and that's why I had to buy that from them. Because it went off Netflix.
You're the only person.
I probably think I am the only person that did.
Well, what they'll do is
is that
they'll go the way of the music industry. You do on that old format called VHS.
There we go.
That would be
and
cool.
then
Can't hack my VHS.
Then you download it if you want.
I think they do that with the Stranger Things episodes. They're on VHS. You can get them on VHS.
Well, I'm at more of records.
Cool.
But I think you just buy it. They're gonna make DVD versions of it, or
you can still buy it. But I looked up the other day, and it's like $70 or $80 to buy the whole series of
That's not
The
bad.
Office. Not crazy, but it's if it was already on your Netflix for free, people aren't used to buying things anymore. They've kind of trained us not to buy, but just to pay all these monthlies now. But my question is this gonna? Can we really expect people to have, or what is the limit to how many $12 subscriptions we can expect people will have?
Whatever the market bears, man.
Whenever it gets more expensive than your TV bill,
then
then you're in trouble.
Well, I think it's either going to go two ways. You can afford it, or you start managing what you want to see. So, for example, I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. I want to see the new season. I better subscribe to HBO when it's on. And then when I watch, I'm like, okay, I'm done subscribing to HBO. Cancel that subscription and then move on. And I think that's why Netflix has been doing their own content, because eventually, 20 years on the road, that's what people are going to be a new Office. And it's like, oh, I got to subscribe to freaking Netflix to still watch my pointless show, The Office, too. And
I think Netflix has been smart to pour so much unbelievable money into all the different things, because they saw the writing on the wall with all this years ago.
Or could it be that they are going to reboot The Office, and NBC just wants to get it on their own thing, so when they release it on TV again?
You think NBC's gonna bring The Office back?
I think it's possible, yeah.
Sure, maybe so. I don't know that you could. It was kind of lightning in a bottle. I don't know that you could ever.
Well, they'll probably do the holiday movies kind of thing, like
Lifetime.
They'll do like a 2-hour Office movie.
Yeah, maybe. At some point, people get famous, and it's hard to get them all back together again. But anyways, I just think it's interesting what this is gonna. There's gonna be an NBC. There's gonna be all the networks are gonna have one. But then, is Fox Studios, is Universal? We're gonna have studios that are all gonna have them for all their movies as well. and it's just going to be where I have to pay 8 different people $12 a month to be able to watch.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You either can afford it all, or are you going to manage it and say what you want to watch and how you do it? Because Holly and I, we do HBO, Amazon, Netflix.
Yeah.
And then basically, if I want to do Hulu, I can call somebody who has Hulu. But I don't really have a lifestyle where I have to watch certain things. Like Game of Thrones, Holly had to watch that.
Yeah.
And she did. And I was like, well, I like Westwood, so let's keep it on for the Westwood movie that came out.
Dude, I just started. I'm on season 2 of Westwood, by the way.
Yeah, and so I was like, oh, let's just keep it for another month so we can watch that movie when it comes out.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm like, well, let's not do it.
Deadwood, not Westwood.
What did I say?
Westwood.
Oh,
Westworld.
fudge.
Westworld is the other show.
Oh, yeah, Westworld's going to be good. but
Westworld's good, too.
That's not going to be out for 10 months or something like that.
Yeah, it takes them a while to do that.
So-
Hey, one other thing. I didn't have an article about this, but did you see that the Adam Sandler murder mystery movie on Netflix they released this? They don't ever release stats, but they released the stats on this. In the first 3 days, there was 30 million individual accounts, like unique accounts that watched Adam Sandler's murder mystery in the first 3 days.
I don't doubt it.
30 million. 30 million people. That's a lot.
I mean, a lot of people see Adam Sandler movies, so when you see Adam
Yes,
Sandler's new
yes,
movie,
okay.
I know, but it's funny because he's
right.
kind of a punchline because his movies are
because
usually.
we reviewed
glad
it,
you
because
said
you
this.
clearly haven't listened to.
No, I didn't listen to that. Sorry.
I'm glad you said this because yes, 30 million people watched it. But where is that sweet dough that should have come from the opening weekend box office? It's not there. And see, that's what
it's in his pocket.
No. Well, that they paid him. So Netflix has those subscriptions that they already had. They released that movie. It makes really nothing.
But they're maintaining. It's about maintaining subscriptions, though. You have to keep the content coming for people to stay subscribed. Especially, it's exactly what we're talking about.
Right.
I mean, The Office is leaving.
But that stat's a worthless stat, really. I mean, how many? 11 billion people have Netflix. Okay, so they watch that. What's the end game?
Well, it's
of
different.
that?
It's different than saying 30 million people went to the movie theater because they didn't have to pay $10 in that moment. It was a free thing to watch.
Sure.
But you have to say, but it's like it's a loyalty to the service, though. If people aren't watching the stuff Netflix has, eventually they're going to cancel it. So you have to keep putting out things people are going to want.
I think that
so it's
movie
just a
could have
different
made in the mid-20s opening weekend, I would think.
20 million. Yeah.
Mid-20s.
Sure, maybe it could have, but I think for Netflix, it's more valuable for them to host it on their service, don't you think?
I don't know.
Or maybe we don't know.
I still have difficulty understanding.
Maybe
this
we don't
whole
know.
thing.
Maybe Netflix needs to be making movies, releasing them in theaters for a short run, and then pulling them onto their service or something.
I mean, that'd be a good idea.
I mean, that's what like Amazon is doing that with their movies. They're Manchester by the Sea, for instance, was the one that won the Oscar. Releasing it for a while and then hosting it on their service as well. And that actually seems like maybe a smart move on one other hand because you get all the publicity of the theatrical release, which then pushes people to your service who maybe would watch it who wouldn't have otherwise. So, and then it's hosted there for people to rewatch. Well, cool. Well, that's what we got for movie news. Dick, sorry to let you down. I know it was all stuff you don't care about, but
Yeah, boo.
boo on you. All right, let's go to break. And then when we come back from break, we're going to do the rewinds of the movies that we've seen since we've been together last, and we're going to do our top 3 childhood movies. So stick with us here on The Ticket Stub.
This is Rick, TRC. Every Tuesday on my show, Afternoons with Lone Star from 3 to 7, I play back-to-back classic rock hits. That's right. I like to call it a 2 for Tuesday or a 3 for whatever it is you'd like. Call the request line 936-647-3776 or message me on Facebook, Afternoons with Lone Star, make a music request. That's right, you can do it. Here's what else. Go over to our website, irlonestar.com. Get the app on your phone. It's easy. You'll like it.
The Ticket Stub is sponsored by the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas.
With 18 locations around the country, the Grand Theater and Amstar Cinemas bring you the latest in state-of-the-art projection and sound.
Including Fathom Events and Flashback Cinema.
Did you know your local Grand or Amstar Cinema serves a wide variety of adult beverages?
And some even have a full bar.
And moms, they didn't forget about you. They also have a large selection of wine to help you get through those kids' movies.
Visit your local Grand or Amstar Cinema today.
From the beginning, the main purpose of the Cooperative Extension Service has been to change human behavior by teaching people how to apply the results of scientific research. By utilizing a holistic, multi-level approach, Extension family and community health programs encourage health and well-being for everyone. Addressing values, concerns, and needs with reliable science-based information, Extension programs help people lead healthier lives. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. helping Texans make their lives better.
Our talk shows and music shows are looking for sponsors. Want to expand your brand awareness? Reach the hyper-local audience in Montgomery County? Lone Star Community Radio sponsorships accomplish this. Want to see our stats and rates? Check out ourlonestar.com/sponsor for more information. Or call in and leave us a message at 936-647-3776 with your questions. Get seen on TV, YouTube, and heard on our podcast, FM, and internet radio. Support your local radio station with Lone Star Community Radio.
We're back on the Ticket Stub. If you missed this last segment, we talked movie news, a little gossip. Bradley Cooper and Gaga, are they, aren't they? Who knows? Ross and Rachel, right? Then we talked about yesterday not giving women a fair shake.
Oh, they are.
Oh, they are. And last but not least,
in the next movie, A Star is Reborn. Relive the love.
Oh, that's a good tag. Relive the love. There you go. And they could just change some of the lyrics of the songs they already have. And then we talked about
and another funny scene in that movie is he can't urinate anymore, so he can't piss himself.
Oh.
And so we can bring that back, bring the audience back to the first one where he pissed himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, this is the first time I haven't pissed on stage in a while.
That'd be
I'm
gold.
telling you, this movie. I've already written this movie.
That'd be gold. All right, well, let's do our rewinds. This is where we talk about the movies that we've seen since we've been together last. Who wants to go first? Dick, do you have a movie?
Yeah, I do.
Is that code for no?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I was actually kind of funny we were watching this, so I'm going to pull up the trailer and just let it run in the background. But yeah, so I saw the 2017 Reese Witherspoon movie called Home Again.
Oh.
I don't know if y'all have any idea what that is, but it is the stereotypical Reese Witherspoon movie. Holly has been watching Little Big Lies or Big Little...
Yeah, Big Little Lies.
Big Little
Hey, you
Lies.
can skip that ad.
And she likes the... it's on the screen, so just stop
my bad.
worrying about it, dude. Okay. And so she saw this movie, and she's like, let's watch this movie because I like Reese Witherspoon. I was like, oh, great, here we go. And I will say the most interesting thing about this movie after watching it
is nothing.
Was who was involved in making it. So the director and writer was Hallie Meyer Shire. That's kind of an interesting name. But she is a daughter of Nancy Myers and Charles Shire. And they have written and directed probably the most well-known recent chick flicks, I would call chick flicks, like The Holiday, It's Complicated, The Intern. I guess that's not really a chick flick. Something's Gotta Give.
I like
The Parent Trap, and that's not really a chick flick.
No.
But they wrote and directed those movies. So what was funny is in this movie, this is a perfect movie to watch if you're into screenwriting because it couldn't.
Does Reese hook up with this little young guy?
Yeah, it couldn't commit to what kind of movie it wanted to be because I will give you the synopsis. Life for a single mom in Los Angeles takes an unexpected turn when she allows 3 young guys to move in with her. See, that's like half truth right there. Because even during the movie, I couldn't figure out if they were divorced or separated because they said both words throughout the movie. Because she's married or divorcing another actor, Michael Sheen, who we all know, and her mother, Candice Bergen, shows up occasionally.
Candice Bergen is the queen of these like kind of terrible movies. Like
Yeah.
she's been in some good movies in her career, maybe, but she likes this kind of stuff.
It looks fun, honestly.
I mean, that's
Does she hook up with all 3 guys?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't really have a direction on what it wanted to be when it came to these 3 guys. Because even the 3 guys living there wasn't really part of the plot. And I was like, okay, you could tell it wanted to be part of the plot, but it wasn't. And especially her voiceover and her character, I was like, I don't know who wrote this, but it's a good example of not committing to a plot.
Well, Reese still looks pretty good, though, huh?
Yeah.
So, I guess that's what matters.
You think they're just trying to like redo? Was it Sweet Home Alabama?
Yeah, well, I think they're just trying to redo what she does, like who she is, and I think it failed. It definitely failed. And
is that Big Little Lies good? Do you watch that with your wife?
I'll watch that with my wife. Yes,
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. It's more confusing than
this.
Than this. But I would love to talk about that show because I still don't understand a lot of the logic in that show.
Yeah, I don't watch it, but me and Lindsay have kind of talked about it, but I have not seen an episode yet. So.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, so good or bad? Home Again.
Oh, bad.
Bad.
It's streaming on, I want to say, Amazon Prime.
Yeah, for now. Better watch it before it goes.
Better start boycotting Amazon Prime. Home Again, the best movie of the century.
Chris, what you got?
I saw Vice.
Yes.
I know you reviewed this. This is
Hey, come on.
2018. Adam McKay directed. Christian Bale.
It's streaming on
starred.
something now.
It is streaming. I saw it
Hulu?
live. I saw it live. I saw it on Hulu. Yes.
Yes,
For
live on
free
Hulu.
On Hulu. Yes. Rapid fire movie review. Matthew Lucas from the front row. Clearly, the target audience is in on the joke, but the film often feels smug and cynical rather than illuminating or insightful. Peter Rayner from Christian Science Monitor. This ought to be good. In theory, there's no reason why this approach shouldn't work. If the jokes were better and the black comedy was blacker, but McKay isn't really interested in Cheney as anything but a target. Matthew Pachovic from Matt's Movie Reviews. Ever seen that image of a raving conspiracy theorist in front of a board filled with newspaper clippings linked together with red crazy string? Vice is the movie equivalent. And Josh Larson on film. Michael Moore fan fiction. Okay.
I think you saying Christian Science Monitor, this ought to be good. That might be one of the funniest things you've ever said on the show. It was such an offhanded thing. All right, what you think?
Well, this movie had so much going for it. It has great actors.
Great actors.
Interesting story about somebody interesting, a great director, and so forth. My problem is, if you're going to make a hit piece, which clearly
it was.
Clearly this is a hit piece, just present the facts.
Yes.
Instead of wild exaggerations or embellishments. If the person you're trying to take down is really as bad as you say, then you shouldn't have to do anything but state the facts of what happened. They try to cover their butts in the beginning where they say it's a true story, well, as true as it can be for somebody that's so secretive. Well, that's not, that's really not saying much there. So basically you're saying that you made up half the stuff that happens in the movies. I mean, they've got conversations behind closed doors, conversations with his wife, how his daughter came out to him and what his reaction was. I mean, they really missed the mark.
And it was all based on what they figure he would do.
Yeah, what they figured he would do. Even when they show George W. Bush, who's played by Sam Rockwell, really well. I
love Sam Rockwell.
But even when he was given the address to the nation in the Oval Office, they made him like really tiny, like sitting down behind the desk, looking all small. We all remember that speech. It didn't look like that. That's just not necessary to do. And earlier in the movie, they have George W. Bush stumbling around drunk at like some black tie function and his tie's hanging off and he's all drunk and there's just no way that happened the way that did. I just don't believe so. But, Adam McKay is a great director.
He is.
And I'm really disappointed by the way that he went about this. I think he's far more creative than he showed in this movie. And I really think he should have more integrity like he had in the two Anchorman movies.
Those were ones where he did not give an inch.
He did not.
Let me ask you something, Chris.
Yes.
Because I remember watching this movie we talked about during our Oscar shows.
Yeah.
I always felt that in this movie there wasn't enough Christian Bale to justify a nomination. Does that make sense? The scenes were too short.
Yeah.
I didn't really see acting. I just saw him just reacting and the narration. Really.
That's one thing I noticed was Steve Carell, who plays Donald Rumsfeld.
Yeah.
He's not really doing an impression of Donald Rumsfeld. He's just doing Steve Carell acting.
Yeah.
And it seems like Christian Bale's doing an impression of Dick Cheney. And those are the two things. It's like, so I really would have liked to see just Christian Bale's interpretation of it instead of a straight up impression, which is what it was, in my opinion. So
I think you hit the nail on the head, Chris. I think that they came at this, which they do all the time. So, Adam McKay is not the only one, but they came at this with the end in mind, which is that we want to make him look terrible. And so everything we do is through that light. And I think that, I don't know enough about like politics and stuff. Dick Cheney, probably a questionable figure or whatever else. Just, let the story tell itself here. But when they, like trying to make the part where it's like, oh, we all lived happily ever after.
Yeah.
And it's like, just kidding. This didn't actually, and they ran the credits so that it was fake and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we get it. Like, you hate him, like, okay. I mean, you made a big budget movie that won an Oscar to show how much you hate Dick Cheney.
Well, it's like making a movie about Hitler, and that's not enough. Like, you also have to add in all these little things where he like kicks a puppy or something like that. I mean, it's like you get it. You don't need to pile it on. I think that's just, it's lazy filmmaking, I think, and I would have liked to see just a straight up, here's what he did. He didn't let the audience make up their own mind.
Yeah.
And I don't like it when they don't.
Well, I think the part of the problem was the scenes were too short.
They were very.
It was like a bunch of little moments.
And I think there could have been a good solid 20 minutes of an actual continuation of one story, and so the jumping and all that kind of stuff. Because the guy is interesting and he's very polarizing, and there's a lot of footage of him talking. So there's got to be something that everyone kind of connects to and do it accurately.
Yeah.
So
Did you see the fly scene where he's talking to his wife and he's on the couch and the fly is like on his face,
Yeah.
like going around, and the fly is on her arm? It was very distracting. I thought it was very distracting.
See, and this was a shame because I loved The Big Short. That's one of my favorite movies in the last, that's probably a top 10 movie in the last couple years for me because I just think he did an awesome job bringing a complicated subject to where people could understand it. And maybe that was told, maybe if I knew enough about finances, I'd be annoyed that he was doing the same thing there. Like he was obviously speaking against the financial institutions in The Big Short, but that one felt a little bit more like it was just, I don't know, it wasn't so much based on one person that you could say, obviously this didn't happen, obviously this didn't happen, obviously we don't know about this. It was more of just, dramatizing events that pretty much did happen and kind of putting you in the middle of it. And so I liked that. And I think he tried to kind of steal some of those elements. And it just, the second time, it's never as good. When you're like, let me explain you what's going on type stuff. And I don't know, the little funny jokes weren't quite there. Did you, overall, if you had to say like out of 5, or scale of 1 to 5?
I'm gonna a 2. I think there's some solid performances in there, but they're even Sam Rockwell. It's making fun.
Yeah, it's all making
George
fun.
W. Bush, so. But he's really good in it. But
Yeah, Sam Rockwell is good.
yeah,
And-
I don't know. It just was not needed. Just play the characters. You don't need to do impressions, and just show whatever the facts are if you want to make that movie, and let the audience make up their mind. And I think they did not do that.
I think getting so much love is a testament to the political leanings of the people that are voting on.
it really
It was a well-made movie, and I think it had good acting in it. But it wasn't. I don't know who enjoyed watching Vice. Like there was a couple funny parts, but it wasn't a real enjoyable movie. I don't know. It's just interesting to me that it got as much love as it did. I think if it was about, if it wasn't about the vice president, if it was the exact same movie, but it was about the owner of Ford or something like that, I don't think it would have had so much love behind it.
No, I think it would have been a really, really fine movie if they just left out the digs.
Yeah.
Like the straight up, we got to ram it into your head that this is a terrible person. They just leave all that out, and I think it would have been great.
Honestly, probably a higher tier movie because it's like we don't have to spoon feed the fact that what we're trying to get to. We're just going to let you kind of see it. All right. Well, for me, I saw the movie John Wick 3, Parabellum, which apparently means like go to war or something. Parabellum, I don't know, it's Latin for something. But John Wick 3, directed by Chad Stahelski, and it's written by Derek Kolstad and Shay Houghton and a bunch. It takes a lot of people to write a John Wick movie. I don't know if you knew that. Probably because the dialogue is so rich. They really have to, double and triple check it. The stars of the movie, it's got Keanu Reeves, obviously, Ian McShane, who is reprising his role yet again as the owner of the Continental Hotel, Lawrence Fishburne, who was in the first one as well. Several of those people from the first one. This one also has Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen Halle Berry in a while. And so she comes out and plays a fairly important part. So the IMDb plot of this movie, super assassin John Wick is on the run after killing a member of the International Assassins Guild. And with a $14 million price tag on his head, he's the target of hitmen and women everywhere. So a couple things. Number one, it's funny how these John Wick movies kind of rely on the other movie. Like it's all within like a 3-day span. There's 3 John Wick movies, and they must all take place within just a few days of each other because the plots are directly. It picks up just right where number 2 left off, and number 2 picks up kind of right where number 1 left off. And in every movie, he ends it by burying his weapons under cement, and then the start of the next movie, he's busting the cement open to get his weapons back out. But if you remember John Wick 2, he killed the brother of the girl who killed herself in the pool and the blood went everywhere. But he killed him inside the hotel where you're not supposed to do anything.
Well, hey, he didn't kill her.
No, she killed herself. That's what I said.
He didn't. He didn't do anything wrong.
Okay, yeah, but anyways.
Okay.
But the brother, he killed the brother in the hotel.
Did he?
Yeah, and that's why he got.
Is he in the Star Reborn?
Yeah,
Is that?
And that's why he got blacklisted or whatever they call it. I forget what it was. This one goes the most into the spy network out of all the movies. And apparently it's all deeper than we could have. Who would have thought? It's deeper than we thought it was. So essentially, this movie is just the same. It's the same thing over and over again. They found a formula that works, and they just go with it. Dick, did you see this?
Yeah, I did.
What have you reviewed it on this show already?
Yeah. You just don't listen to it when you're not here.
I do.
So,
I do sometimes. What do you think about it?
I thought it was they still have the same production company doing everything, so it was really well made. Some issues I had with it were when you're telling a story, this story didn't really do anything new in a sense of it began with him on the run, and it ended him still on the run.
Yeah.
So,
which I guess they're going to make a number 4.
Well, they have to because, and that's one thing I was disappointed. I felt the movie needed to end at one point to where it kind of left it open, like what's going to happen at the end of this one.
It was pretty obvious.
And it's pretty obvious. Like we didn't really learn anything. We didn't do anything new with
the
John
plot
Wick.
didn't really move anywhere.
No,
he killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when movies there would be like the original and then a sequel and then that would be it?
Yes.
And now it's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish they would just get like 3, just like commit to a trilogy. You know, just let it be a 3-movie story
and maybe
arc.
this is the mistake of John Wick 3 where they didn't know how to. They either said, "Hey, let's play with the idea of doing 2 more movies, 3 and 4," or we can't really figure out how to end it in 3. We had more time to go. To
I
tell
think it's
the
just
story.
riding a hit, like a sure moneymaker.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it is. So.
Well, I mean, especially how fast they turn these out and the replay quality of them. Like everyone loves these movies, and it's almost like a fresher breath of air. I said that wrong.
He did. A fresher breath air.
Breath. What?
A breath of fresh air.
Breath of fresh air. Thank you. And a lot of people are making similar movies like The Equalizer and all those other kind of like remember that Sean Penn movie no one saw, and then we also have pretty much all of Liam Neeson's movies are made in the same style, but these movies I thought it was like for example the fight scene with the 3 Asian guys was really long. Like I was exhausted.
That was, and then that was golly kind of brutal.
Yeah,
but he killed some great people. So there is it's called visu.info John Wick kill count. I just googled like how many people did John Wick kill. Somehow I stumbled across this website. They have it actually. It's really cool. It's these infographics. It's got dialogue count for The Quiet Place. It dissects the whole church scene in Kingsman. How many times did the Edge of Tomorrow did he die? But they've got something for all 3 of the movies, and it shows. Yeah, Dick, if you can pull that up. I don't know. I didn't give you very much
what's it called?
Just Google how many people did John Wick kill infographic. And so what it has is in each scene, how many people he killed, with what gun did he use, how many shots did he take, how many hits, how many misses, and his accuracy for every film. It's super cool, really, especially if you like John Wick. It's really an interesting thing. But if you had to guess, Chris, have you seen any of these movies?
No.
Okay, well then you're a total ignorant bystander here. If you thought in John Wick 1, 2, or 3, which one would he have killed the most people?
The third one.
Yeah, typically it scales up, right? Mm-hmm. Actually, in the first one he killed 77 people. It feels like about 500 in each movie. In the second one he killed 128 people. In the third one he only killed 85 people. All right?
Wow.
Yeah, but he took more shots in the third one than he did in all of the other movies.
Well, he's getting older.
Well, and there is a great scene, Dick, in the third one where those guys are wearing the armor that can't be penetrated by the pistol. And so he has to shoot each guy like 40 times and then punch them because the bullets aren't going through the stuff. Mm-hmm. But anyways, he killed not the most. He killed the second most in the third movie, but he was the most accurate. 88% of his shots. But what I love is Chris, look at this, and Dick, you're scrolling through it. It shows every gun in the third one, how many kills he got with it. He had 3 horse kills. That's pretty cool, right? Killed 3 people with a horse.
Wow. But he killed people with the horse.
Yeah, but look, it shows the gun in each scene. It shows the gun, the bullets fired, like in order, which bullet he shot, and did it hit or not.
My advice to the guy that made this is, man, go ahead and get out of your parents' basement here. This has gone too far. Well, you got to have a sit down with your parents.
What's great is how many times must he have seen this in theaters? Because, unless he pirated it. I mean, that's the only other option, because you'd have to watch it so many times to keep track of each gun and each bullet, because it's happening so fast. But anyways, I digress a little bit. I think this is really cool.
How many times would this guy have to watch these movies?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, my gosh, to figure that out.
Yeah, 3 horse kills, though.
That's pretty good.
The horse kill scene, those
We're
are good.
lucky to get one in our lifetime, I would think.
I've only had one so far. Hoping to get a second sometime soon. But the John Wick movies, if you like it, then, man, it's just they're going to keep doing the same thing. I do wish that at some point we could find a way to land the plane here with the franchise, because it does, by the end of this one, like you said, Dick, I was just kind of tired by the end of this. He's just killing so many people. It's relentless.
Well, it's not even that. It's more of you're not going anywhere. It's almost like playing those video games that it's not really based off a story. It's based off levels. So it's like this wave has 4,000 people coming at you. Can you survive? And there were some really interesting things that they brought to this one because some people asked, like, what does the hotel manager really do? What is, let's see him shoot some people. And then we saw that, and we saw the importance of the hierarchy, because one thing that kind of confused me about the movie is why didn't the owner do anything?
He just sat there.
He just sat there, and I'm like, well, he's not a prince or something. Is he like,
Ian McShane,
is he the
like
asset? That means like you have to make sure he stays alive because if you don't, what? Like he's already screwed. Everyone's already trying to kill him. So that's one thing I didn't really get, and I did like them fighting with the manager. That was neat. They were teaming up.
Yeah.
But again, this movie didn't answer really. At the end of the movie, you're still on the same path he was at the very beginning, like just being chased.
Nothing happened. This would definitely be a good, if you're an action movie person, whenever this comes streaming on some service, you need to see this just for the action. I mean, there's some awesome, the knife throwing scene where they're in that hallway with all these glass cases of all these like, antique knives. And it's him and like 5 other guys. And they're just breaking glass and throwing, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. But there's some great things in here that you want to check out. But yeah, we need the franchise to actually go somewhere at some point. Anyways, let's move on. Top 3. We're gonna finish the show here with our top 3 childhood movies. Let's go 3, 2, and 1 all together, and maybe give a brief reason why do you like the movie so much. Chris, we'll start with you. What's your number 3?
The Witches. Do you guys remember that?
See, what's funny, I was thinking about this, Chris. You come from a little bit different era than Dick and I do as far as childhood.
It's Angelica Houston and Rowan.
I've heard of this. Yeah,
Rowan Atkinson is in it, and it's like these witches turn little kids into rats.
Sounds like a good kids movie.
Yeah, it is a kids movie.
This is explaining a little bit. What were you exposed to as a young child?
Really, good kids movies. To make you grow up.
I ain't no kid. I grew up.
Yeah, but
Witches. Angelica. Do you remember what year this was?
It would have been in the late 80s, maybe early
1990.
1990. So I was 10.
A young boy stumbles onto a witch convention.
I should have said my age. But,
a young boy stumbles onto a witch convention and must stop them, even after he's been turned into a mouse.
Oh, a mouse. Yes.
Sounds good. Is this actually for kids?
Yeah. I think it is. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's Rowan Atkins? Oh, is that
Mr. Bean?
Mr. Bean?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, Dick, what's your number 3?
Oh, my number 3 would be The Page Master.
What is that?
Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin, 1994.
Is it Page?
Yeah, Page, like a book.
Oh, it's a cartoon. Okay.
Well, it's both.
I've not.
It's one of those movies where he goes into another world and it becomes a cartoon. Always dig those.
Coward. Oh, you like it where it's kind of both things together? So he starts as a boy.
Yeah.
Goes into a cartoon. Mm-hmm. And then what? He like fights a dragon or something?
I mean, they go on a journey.
Pretty awesome.
A storm forces frightened Richard Tyler inside a nearby library for shelter.
It's like Neverending Story.
Mr. Dewey, Christopher Lloyd, the librarian, sees that Richard needs an adventure and tries to give the boy a book. But all Richard wants is a phone. But he can tell
millennial
before he can call his parents. Richard slips on the floor, hits his head, and passes out. When he wakes up, he finds himself in a fantasy land populated by famous literary characters.
And you like this because you have the same name as the lead kid, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
His name was Dick.
Totally.
Well, Richard.
Oh,
so.
Did Christopher Lloyd give him like a little juice or something before he passed out?
You don't really know. The plot could be really creepy if you want to take it that way, but.
Oh, hey kid, I guess it's just me and you in the library.
I just remember
night.
watching the movie and I really enjoyed it. So there you go.
All right, well, good. I'm glad you had that moment. All right, for me, from 1988, the classic, and this was one of my favorites as a kid, Land Before Time. There was number 1. I know that they've made. Where was I was looking somewhere, and
that's a series that just needs to figure out how to end it.
Well, they just need the the asteroid. It was ended, but we just haven't gotten there yet. So Land Before Time, everybody knows the movie where the brontosaurus gets together with his friends and they're trying to find their family in the valley, and the T-Rex is chasing after Sharptooth, as they call him, is chasing after him the whole time, and they're trying to find the tree star, which is like the leaf, I guess, to let them know where they're supposed to be going. And
wasn't there a famine? Is that what it was?
Yeah, they were trying to get, because like the water stopped, it dried up or something, so they're trying to get to like the Garden of Eden or whatever, where the water flows.
Before climate change became an issue. That's amazing.
Man, I didn't realize how politically pointed that was. Littlefoot, and then there was
Sharptooth is supposed to be.
Petrie. Petrie was always good. Sarah, Ducky, a lot of characters that stick with you.
Yeah.
Some fun stuff. I did see a list the other day. It might have been on HBO. They had all the movies, and it was serious. It's so many.
No, so if you listen to our other episodes that you've missed, I mentioned that where it takes up a whole screen of all the movies.
Well, I'm just basically reiterating everything y'all talked about. I'm glad we're on the same. It's kind of like we're kind of like people who've synced up, right?
Yeah,
you talk about stuff.
Maybe
it's
I could
on
do the
my
whole
mind.
show by myself.
You just be all the voices. There we go.
finish each other's
Sandwiches. Hey,
There you go.
All right. What's your number 2?
Now I'm hungry.
it's tied for me with Labyrinth and
Labyrinth.
Ewoks Return to Endor.
Yeah.
Star Wars. It's a Star Wars movie.
Star Wars
and
story?
I don't like Star Wars at all, but that Star Wars movie I like, and Drew Barrymore's in it.
The Battle for Endor.
Battle for Endor, yes. I don't even know the title.
1985.
So 1985. And then Labyrinth, which is one of the greatest movies of all time.
Is Warwick Davis in both those movies?
Well, he is not in Labyrinth.
Who's in Labyrinth?
David Bowie?
Isn't there a midget in Labyrinth? Or, excuse me, a little person?
There is, but they are not well known.
Okay. They weren't one of the big ones. The well-known ones, I guess you should say.
Yeah.
Labyrinth is that one's interesting.
It is. It's one of the greatest special effects movies with puppetry and foreground miniatures and just painted backgrounds. They make this whole world look like, it's just in a studio without green screen. Well, there was a green screen scene, but only one, and it's really neat.
Yeah. All right. Well, definitely interesting. I saw Labyrinth. It's been quite a while. How long ago was the last time you watched Labyrinth?
I saw it. We had it at the theater a couple of years ago, so I watched it again.
Oh, cool. All right. What's your number 2, Dick?
I am going to say the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, that almost made the list. That was close.
Yeah, I really liked hockey, and that's what made it even better because kids played hockey on TV, so that was cool.
The chubby kid from that's in lots of trouble right now.
Goldberg?
Well, Jussie Smollett was in this movie. So
Was he really?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
maybe
one was Jussie Smollett?
he played. I don't know. Do you think I know everything
He
about
played
this
the
movie?
kid that got cornered in an alley, and then they, tried to do that.
He played.
Baker
They
or
don't even
Was
say
he,
his
was he
name.
the cake eater? I'm
No.
just kidding. That was Banks. That was number 2.
But yeah, you should definitely check out the video of Sean Weiss, the Goldberg. He looks a little rough.
Does he? Things aren't going so good for him.
Things are not going good for him.
Did you like?
He's thin though.
Did you like
that's
D1?
something.
Did you like D1 more than D2?
Well, I would say yeah because D2 was really weird
What's that called, Chris?
because there really
Grow up.
wasn't a junior champion
Hot Olympics.
Olympics. So it
I
was
loved
like
it. It was like, all right, now we're gonna play Trinidad and Tobago, and it's just like, I don't know, like we're Rasta. Oh, hey man,
yeah.
now we're
so
gonna.
that
play.
was really weird. But outside that,
Dude, D2 was my fave.
the
But
D3 was interesting because
Eden Hall.
it went to like where actually people played hockey at in high school. Like no one played it in public school. So all the rich schools, that's the only school that played hockey.
Got to go to the prep school.
So I found that pretty interesting. But
Yeah, the Mighty Ducks were definitely a big part of the childhood for me. Didn't quite make the list though. For me, my number 2, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze. Do y'all remember this?
Yeah.
1991 actually just showed Jude, who is my stepson now. He loves Ninja Turtles.
Now.
We weren't married before, so he wasn't before, but now he is because we are. Just showed him.
Do you refer to him as the stepson?
Yeah, I say his stepson.
Stepson.
Yeah.
Stepson, sorry.
Just trying to give the listeners some context.
Child.
Hey, stepchild. Anyways, I just showed him this movie because he loves the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, it's a great movie, too.
And he's not quite on. He's only 5. He's not quite loving like real act. Like he likes cartoons still, but he did like this movie, and I was watching it, and I was still loving it. I mean, 31 years old, still liking the movie that was really meant for kids. But they've got some great lines. Talk about where like they do the animatronic turtles pretty well. I mean, it's real people, but they got these like fake heads on and stuff. And really a movie, I don't know. I just love it. Some of it's probably like comfort food. It brings back memories of the past and everything like that, but good stuff. So anyways, Chris, number 1.
Number 1, Neverending Story for me.
Neverending Story.
That movie messed me up. Yeah, exactly.
Why did it mess you up?
That's a great song, by the way.
It is a great song.
I love that song.
Atreyu!
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah,
It takes kids through all the emotions.
it does. I'm always going like, hey, childlike Empress,
He can be
why
in.
don't you just freaking help out a little bit?
He can be in Star Wars Is Reborn. We just have all these
There you go.
reoccurring characters that
Yeah.
come up.
But she's sitting up there in her ivory tower this whole time. It's like, you couldn't do anything to help the darkness? Come on, girl.
Yeah.
Anyways, she was kind of, I feel like she was just,
And Falcor,
Falcor's cool.
that's pretty neat.
My parents have a dog.
Where's
that
the
looks
article?
Like Falcor.
Where's the article talking about how stupid men are in that movie, treating the women poorly?
That's true. There was not a lot of strong women
This
characters.
movie
in it.
says princesses are useless.
They got to bring puppets back.
They do.
Real puppetry.
Jason Segel's trying to.
No, not like that. But not Muppets. Like the puppets like Falcor and things like that, where you actually do it instead of CGI. I like that. But CGI honestly probably looks better.
It looks a lot better. That's why they don't do it.
Yeah.
Dick, what's your number 1?
My My number 1 is Willow.
Willow, really? That's your favorite movie from childhood?
That is a great,
It's a great movie.
And you can't get it anywhere. You can't.
I have it.
You can't rent
I have
it.
several versions of it.
I've been wanting to watch that movie for a long time.
I can let you borrow it.
Is it on
DVD?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
So yeah, I really like that movie.
There's Warwick Davis again. All right.
And I think it was a lot of fun. It's a good adventure movie. And one thing I liked about that age of movies is it didn't seem like it was placating just to kids.
Yeah.
So
Something for
like
everybody.
the sets and the violence and dialogue, like to me, it felt like an adult adventure film. Like,
but it was just like appropriate.
But it was appropriate. Yeah, like there wasn't nudity or anything, but it was more of like, this is really cool. We're gonna see these guys fight and all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, today, I bet if it was remade, it'd be really soft and boring. So,
yeah. Well, my number 1 is the movie from 1995 called Heavyweights, starring Ben Stiller. This still is a kind of a favorite classic of mine. This is where plump kids, this is what the IMDb says, plump kids are lured into joining a posh fat camp with the promise of quick weight loss and good times, only to find the facility is a woodland hellhole run by a psycho ex-fitness instructor. This is a movie that could not be made today. They would not make a movie about fat kids going to fat camp to lose weight because that is a trigger warning for people who don't like that kind of stuff. But this is so good. I know we've talked about on the show before here. Ben Stiller's kind of doing a precursor to White Goodman from Dodgeball in his, crazy fitness instructor self. There's just so many. There's like legitimate, kind of what you were just saying, Dick. There's like legitimately funny moments that even an adult would find is good. And Ben Stiller is, he's young and not afraid to be crazy.
I don't know if it's just the writers during that time. They really understood the balance in their screenwriting and the dialogue of making kids really kids. It seemed like real kids. And then they were able to talk to real adults and things were actually working in the world of Heavyweights. Yeah. Same thing with like a little bit of Camp Nowhere, a little bit, where it's like you could believe it. If you're an adult or a kid, you believe this was going on and you're on for the ride.
Well, and kids like it because kids are the main character and that's what they want to relate to themselves. But Judd Apatow was a writer on Heavyweights, and I think that's part of why the writing is so good. And he was able to keep it pretty appropriate. And there's some great characters in there. Lars, the kind of like Russian fitness guy or whatever, who was the severely deviated septum.
Counselor that was in the going through finding all the food and stuff like that? Because he used to be a camper at Camp Nowhere.
Oh yeah. What was that kid's name? I know who you're talking about. He's like, I used to be in the chipmunk bunk. And
yeah,
he goes,
and he hits the thing and like candy comes out. Or whatever.
That scene where they're like dumping all their stuff and they have like these treasure troves of candy like behind the trunks and stuff. Anyways, I love Heavyweights. I probably watched that movie 100 times as a kid. I absolutely love that movie. I don't know what it was. I think it's just funny and well written. But so that's our top 3. If you have a childhood movie that you love, please send it to us at @the_ticketstub on Twitter. We'd love to engage you guys. If you engage us on social media, you'll be entered in with an opportunity to win tickets to the Grand Theater. We appreciate y'all for listening. We're still, as the summer goes on, we're going to be a little bit hit or miss, in and out, but we're going to keep shows coming. And once the school year starts back up, we should be able to get back to our regularly scheduled time and consistency, everything like that. So I hope you enjoyed the show. For Dick, for Chris, my name is Connor. We are signing off on the Ticket Stub.